And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Games Talk Live. Today we have a great guest, of course, that being Gaming Forte of the DPS Podcast, and he does that with Slow-Mo every, Wednesday night or Thursday?
Thursday night, 9 p.m.
Thursday. That's right. Anyways, we're going to have a good show today because this guest is just, you know what? I'm just going to say, man, you're very knowledgeable and you know your stuff, like when it comes to gaming, and you're one of the most underrated guys in the community, in my opinion. So I've been waiting to talk to you here, Forte. So how have you been, man?
Man, first of all, I appreciate it. And I love what you've done with the place. The place has this 80s vibe with some new funk to it. This is what I'm talking about, man. This fits you perfectly. And I'm glad that you finally found that niche that absolutely fits what you like to do. But outside of that, man, work, a bunch of games. I think since the last time I talked to you, my youngest daughter turned 10 years old. So
oh, nice.
I have
Congrats.
2 kids that are double digits now. And man, it's just like when you go back and look at all the stuff, it's like, man, time just fly. And then just seeing that we're already about to be halfway through August in like the next week, it just lets you know how fast time goes by. And these next gen systems aren't next gen anymore. They've been out for almost a calendar year now. So, man, it's kind of crazy just to think about time passing like that. But no, outside of that, just DPS, work, family, played the Back for Blood beta, play some other stuff. Still playing through Scarlet Nexus. I'm still on my Destiny grind. We're gonna get you back in there one day.
Oh, I think I'm done, man. I think I'm done with Destiny.
No,
finally.
Man, you never. You kicked the habit.
Okay, so I tried to get back into it. Maybe 4 months ago. And I went into that world again, and I just looked around and I said, "There's just way too much for me to do to catch up." And I'm like, Can't do this. So I got Gone Mad in the chat that says 80s, late 60s. What are you talking about, sir? I am not in my 60s.
He says 60s,
man.
Bro. Wow.
60s. I just turned 46 actually last Thursday. So it's kind of my birthday show here, I guess.
Don't look a day over 38, bro.
Yeah. I thank you. Appreciate it. How old are you, by the way?
I just turned 41.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought you were in your 30s as well. So, okay. Cool, man.
I wish.
Yeah, so we come from a different time for sure. Shout out to Slow-Mo Backslap in the chat. Jigga J says, happy birthday, Fonz. Yeah, thank you. Gone Mad was born in 1967. Okay. You're older than me, sir. Quite a bit older. But yeah, so, we come from a different time where we used to play video games, couch co-op style, if we wanted to play with a friend, all that good stuff. Man, isn't it just so different nowadays? Like, sometimes I feel like we kind of look at video games and we take them for granted. Like all the stuff, especially like where we've come from and where it's gone to. Like sometimes we look at some games and we're like, that game looks trash. And I'm like, dude, compare that to what we used to play. Yeah. We were a literal square in some games on the Atari.
I remember opening up my Atari. I was a day one Atari owner. I remember that day, opening it up and had the little joysticks and stuff. Me and my little brother. I remember that day. It's like one of the most memorable moments I had. Like the first time I was introduced to a video game system, and then it just kind of combusted after that. NES. Huge. People don't know I'm a huge Mega Man person. I'm a huge Mega Man fan. Like Mega Man 1, 2, 3. I remember staying up to like a couple of times in the summertime to like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. This is when it was safe to go outside and be a kid and run around your neighborhood.
Yeah, play football on the street, ride your bike.
Yep, ride your bike. Don't let the street lights catch you and stuff like that. That was like the worst that could happen to you when you were younger. Now it's like completely different and stuff. So, but I remember all that stuff, man, and it's a joy to see where it is now. I do think we take a lot of it for granted, but for the most part, I think gaming is definitely grown in the correct direction compared to where it was before.
Yeah. it's just amazing to me to see how far it's come. I look at everything and I'm just blown away. Like, we've got some upcoming games, like Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of last generation, and it just looks incredible, that world, and I can't wait to dive back in, by the way. But so this DPS podcast, let's get into that a bit.
Yeah.
You and Slow-Mo Backslap host this show.
Yeah.
And I know 1 week you do it on your channel, the next week on his channel. What do you guys love to delve into here? Of course it's a gaming podcast, but
yeah.
What do you feel is like sets you guys apart from some other podcasts out there?
Genuinely, we just like being around each other.
Yeah,
that's the main, like, honestly, a lot of people reached out over the course of like probably the year and a half that we've been on BRAP. It was like, yo, y'all need to do your own thing. Y'all need to do something together. You guys have a really good dynamic. First it started with the whole back and forth and not agreeing with everything, but then it just...
Oh, you still got that.
Oh, yeah, we still got that. It's not as much as it used to because we kind of, I don't say we matured from that, but because we still get into it, but that used to be the focal point, and we didn't want that to be the focal point. We wanted to be around, like you said, about the knowledge and stuff that we have, but we genuinely love each other. That's the thing that people don't really understand. It's like, I talk to him almost every day. Stuff's going on with him, he'll call me. When stuff's going on with me, I call him. Pretty much like how you and your dynamic is with a lot of the people in the RDX. You got, it's more friends, it's more than just the podcast.
Yeah, it's friends getting together to chat about these games and the industry and everything. And I love the name, Damage Per Second Podcast. It's cool. It's different.
How that name came up. It was funny.
How did it come up?
So we were, shout out to my fire team, Ash and Luca and Sir Taz.
Shout out to them.
It came from Destiny, and I'm always talking about having the highest DPS in the game and stuff like.
Oh, here we go.
One day, it was just one day. Your boy was off. Like I had one of the most strongest weapons in the game. I had an anarchy. I had a mountaintop. I had everything that basically said I should be number one in DPS every time I go out there. And for some reason, your boy was at the bottom of the list every game. So Taz came up, was like, y'all should call it DPS Podcast because Forte don't know how to DPS. And as soon as he said DPS Podcast, I was like, you know what? I started scouring the internet, like, who got this? Nobody had it. And I was like, I thought Slow-Mo was at a party with us when it happened. And I heard
Slow-Mo's in the chat. He said he heard it was more frequent than one day.
Oh, whatever. It's never, Slow-Mo's just got
never ends with Slow-Mo.
It never ends with
the
Slow-Mo.
Arguments. Yeah, I love it though.
But that's how it happened.
Yeah. It's really cool though. Yeah, and speaking of, we were getting back into the, like, thinking about the yesteryears and stuff of gaming. Jigga J says, bring back Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The old style graphics still the best. They need to bring it to Game Pass with online play. I agree. Those types of fighting games, they had some of the best, like, art styles, and yeah, bring that to Game Pass with online play. Did you see that they're
trying to Maximilian is trying to set up a petition to get that game to come back? So they can actually,
I didn't see
I saw it yesterday on YouTube. I was like, can I follow him? Like, he's a huge fighting game fan. So I was watching him and he was talking about it. Like it's a lot of stuff going on between Capcom that is the reason it hasn't been, because it's licensing and stuff, because Marvel owns most of those characters that actually own. Yeah, they own all of the Marvel side, and then they got to deal with Capcom too. So that's kind of the reason it hasn't been brought forward and remastered to work on the new systems and stuff. So they're actually working on that right now. So hopefully you're right, because being in an arcade playing those games, that game, bro, there used to be 10 to 15 people huddled around the arcade cabinet playing that game.
Now, I don't have a story about
quarters on the counter.
I don't have a story about Marvel versus Capcom 2. I did play it. It was a great game. But I'm going even back further to Street Fighter Championship Edition.
Ooh, okay.
When that Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition came out, we had two in town. There was one, and it wasn't in an arcade. One was in this little mini mart, okay? Mm-hmm. And it just so happened to be on the way to school and from school. Now, it wasn't open that early in the morning as we walked to school, but on the way home, me and my buddy would stop and we just play that for like a good hour or two and just sink all kinds of quarters into that thing. And I remember that, like, those old school fighting games they were so much fun at the arcades. I play them at home every now and then. I dabble in them. I got really into Killer Instinct on the Xbox because I think that franchise is great. They need to bring that back. Microsoft does. But there's something about the arcade sticks and just the feel of pulling off those moves in the arcade. It just sets it apart. And I've got a fighter stick here at home. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's just not the same as standing there. And I miss it.
I love fighters, and I don't play them because it's not the same experience playing on your couch. Just like I like to look that person in the eye when I'm like hitting them with a 10-piece or a 5-piece combo, especially because my favorite franchise to play was Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag. Lord, Lei Lu Long, Yoshimitsu, all day, 10-hit combos.
Oh, here we go.
All types of different fighting stances. I knew every stance that Lei Lu Long had, all 7 stances to the snake, to the biting fight. It was crazy. And I remember one time in what was it, Tekken 3, I was on a 63 game win streak on the stick. And it was to the point where you got people coming from all over the place trying to take you. They wanted to be the one to take you off the sticks, bro. It was so much pressure back then. It's just, that's the one thing I really, truly do miss about games, about the co-op atmosphere of being in the same room with people, because I think that's the one thing we kind of did lose with the whole thing with online. I think online did make it better, but that's the one thing we lost, is that ability to be around a bunch of people and not just talk about your skills, let people see it on display.
Yeah. I mean, you could still do that a little bit with, a microphone and
True.
But you don't really know a person, right? Like you can grow that and that friendship and stuff out inside this space where we talk online and stuff. I get it. But it's different when it's in your town and the guy's trying to take you down or you're trying to take him down in the game. It's fun. It was fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
Anyways, enough reminiscing. We're going to get into something I like to call 5 questions. All right. So, of course, this is my trivia game that I play every Sunday with a guest. Mm-hmm. And you get 4 trivia questions and 1 subjective question. Now, these are all questions that you may know or may not know. I don't know how much your knowledge goes, but every week, trying to come up with questions and stuff, it's delving into the point where some of them are going to get harder as we progress. So
I saw a couple of the shows.
You've got so many different questions to ask from games all over the years, spanning from the 70s till today. And so we're going to get into that. Anyways, are you ready?
I am ready. Feel like I'm on Jeopardy.
All right. What popular video game was purchased by Microsoft for over $1 billion, sir? Minecraft. Got that right. That's an easy one.
That was an easy one.
All right. Name the final course in Mario Kart.
The original Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It's all... I'll give you a hint. They're all the same. The original through Mario Kart. The last stage is always what?
The last stage is, oh my God, I can't remember. It's not Rainbow Road. Is it Rainbow Road?
It is.
It is. Okay, yeah, because Rainbow Road persists throughout every game. Okay.
Yes. All right. What sport is featured in the game? This is easy. You better get this one. This is completely easy. Everybody will know this. What sport is featured in the game Tecmo Bowl?
Football.
Of course.
Bo Jackson.
Barry Sanders. What year? Now this is the tough one. What year was Pong released?
Oh Lord. 78? No, not 78.
72, sir. You got it wrong. Yeah, we'll 72. Move on.
Yeah, okay.
Last question. Hey, you did great, though. 3 out of 4 of the trivia questions. Now here's the freebie subjective question. Favorite gaming experience of all time?
Oh man, favorite video game experience playing Halo, because Halo will always be my favorite gaming experience. The first time I did Xbox Connect and saw 4 other people's names show up on the screen, where we were able to play against a whole nother. Don't even know where they were at. I was just like, yo, this actually worked, and the game was my first game was flawless. Not no lags, no jitters. Of course, after that, it went all downhill. But the first time I did it was the first time that I was like, yo, this is incredible. Wait till they actually make multiplayer a functionality thing where you can actually just play games no matter what. I had my best friends. My brother was there. My 2 best friends were on my team. And whoever those guys were, it was the most incredible thing I've ever saw in my life, because I've never experienced a game in that way before at that point.
That's a good one. Yeah. I could totally relate to that, as well as I do every week with most of the answers to the, gaming experiences of all time. Just being able to play with your friends and stuff, or play with even total strangers online. You can have some of the best experiences. So that's what we love about this online stuff.
Yeah. Where did you fall on? Let me ask you this. Don't want to derail you. Where did you fall on Mass Effect 1 or 2?
2.
Okay, good. Because I didn't want to.
And I'm still with 2 after playing, the recent Legendary Edition. I'm still with 2. I played through Mass Effect 1
a little bit,
and I was bored at some points in Mass Effect 1 with the Mako. I'm sorry, that Mako is still horrible, even with all the stuff that they tried to do to it.
I think 3 stepped up. I think 3 stepped up a lot for a lot of people after playing it.
But you got to understand, the story from the jump from 1 was incredible.
Absolutely.
They set it all up and they knocked it down in 3. All 3 of those games are masterpieces. You can't go wrong with saying either one of those 3 are the best, in your opinion.
That's my second best experience in those.
Oh gosh, it was, yeah.
Then BioShock Infinite.
And we still haven't got something like that today.
We'll never get anything like that again.
I don't want to say that, because I had a great experience with Red Dead Redemption 2. Both Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, both incredible stories in my opinion. Really felt for the characters. The acting in those games were just incredible. So it's a bit of a different dynamic there. With Mass Effect, you had a better overall engaging story. Yeah. But I feel that the way the actors portrayed Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 gave you a bit more there,
I think it really depends on the type of genre you fall into. Like, I'm huge. Like, I just don't see another sci-fi game
being that way.
Like, you're absolutely right. It is not fair to say that nothing would be like that. I probably would say I don't see another sci-fi game doing that for me.
What about Starfield? Can we hope that Starfield will do something like that?
See, the thing with we can definitely hope that Starfield does that. I just think, man, that's a lot to ask. And I'm not saying that Bethesda shouldn't be able to do it, but I mean, that just makes me remember how great BioWare used to be. I don't want to think about it no more.
Billy Eagle in the chat says that Mass Effect 2 was his least favorite in the series. Look, like I said, man, if you like the other 2 better, it's not like a horrible thing to say at all. Right. I mean, they were all so outstanding. Yeah. Andromeda, we won't even go there. But
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that it never came out.
Facts.
The General C says that Red Dead Redemption 2 was amazing. Yes, it was, sir.
I love that name, General C.
Yeah, General. He also has a YouTube channel. If you're not following him, follow him. He does some good content there as well.
Does he have a car on it?
A car on it?
Is it a car with a Confederate flag on it?
I don't think so.
I'm just saying. I love Deuce Hazard.
Oh, you're talking about the
General
Lee.
General Lee, man. Oh. I have the die cast of that car.
Wow. Yeah, I used to watch that as a kid growing up. Man, we had so many good
with Knight
TV
Rider
shows
back to back.
Oh, Knight Rider. Man, you had so many good shows back then. Sanford and Son was a huge one for me too. What's Happening? You ever watch What's Happening?
Absolutely.
Man, Mama used to scare me. She put the fear of God in me when I used to watch that show. Every time she would tell Roger that she's telling Mama, I was like, "Oh shoot, you're gonna get it now!" Like,
Yeah.
Man, yeah, she put the fear of God in me. Anyway, great shows though. We're reminiscing about stuff half the people in the chat won't even remember, or
Except for
they have no idea what it is.
Except for Slow-Mo, he older than us.
Oh, is he really?
I don't know. He might be. He close.
Sometimes he acts like it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, there that is. He is Luca's oldest son.
Yeah, he is Luca's oldest son, and she's what, 27?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how that works.
Put that math together.
Yeah. It sounds like some Sean Layden math.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anyway, let's get into the first topic here. I want to talk about, did you get to play Back 4 Blood?
I did.
What is your impressions on Back 4 Blood, sir?
Oh, man. It was fun. Is it great? I think, okay, so I don't want to make it seem like it was terrible, because it's not bad. It's good. It's Left 4 Dead. It's literally what Turtle Rock did with the original game.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal. That's one thing I will say. Gunplay looks amazing. I mean, plays amazing. The different elements you have when it comes to just the team dynamic is really good. This is not a game that you can run out and be on your own in. You have to work with your team in this game, because you will get overrun, and there's not like an abundance of ammo that falls everywhere, because all of the ammo is tied to whatever weapons you pick. And can everybody go in with an assault rifle? Absolutely. But the ammo concentration that's going to be in the game kind of goes against that, because you could pick up like ammo drops throughout the game. You might see sniper ammo, SMG weapons, assault rifle ammo, and you want to be able to give that to the people that had a different weapon. So it kind of promotes a dynamic of, diversity in your loadouts and stuff, which really does spike up the difficulty by quite a bit, because you got people that are playing at long range, short range. You got your people that are pretty much jack of all trades. And that's really, really fun. The thing for me is, I don't know. It's like every time I play it, it makes me feel like I just want to play Left 4 Dead.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I heard it's a lot like it. So what is it lacking that Left 4 Dead had that you feel it needs?
The thing is, Left 4 Dead is simplistic in its approach. You literally just you drop into a game with 4 people, you start in the safe room, and you progress throughout the game. Now, I think this game is the evolution of what Left 4 Dead was, and I'm not saying it's bad. I think once I get a chance to play the full game, which everybody, if you have Xbox Game Pass, you should at least try it out. This was a game I was going to buy, and even if it wasn't in Game Pass, I would have bought it day one, and I'm still going to buy it day one, because I'm still truly interested in what the full game has to offer. I just think that from the outset, it drops you into a scenario where it's like, this is kind of a lot of stuff for you to kind of figure out. And it's good for them that they threw it all into the beta to let you see the breadth of how deep the game can be up front. But it's like, I think a lot of people, if they think of Left 4 Dead and they go into it, they're like, yo, this is a lot. And it's kind of going to probably turn some people off. But for the people that like that deep gameplay,
wouldn't you say that would lend to its longevity, though, that it might have
that's
legs?
What I'm saying. And that's why I say, once the full game comes out and you see the whole game for what it is, I think as you progress through the game in its beats and stuff, I think that's where that longevity is going to kick in, and you're going to find better ways of going through environments, because like I said, you can't be off on your own in this game. The thing about Left 4 Dead, you can go off to the other side of the map and you can pretty much still compete and kill everything that's around you. Compared to this game, you got stuff that's literally freezing you, sticking you in places. You're getting overrun by hordes. Don't get drop kicked by the biggest zombie, the biggest thing in the game. It's pretty much over at that point. I just got to the point where I got so overwhelmed by the herd. It was kind of crazy, but that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So I think at this point, I am excited to see what's more to come with it once we finally get a chance to see the full game. But it was definitely fun. It was fun. I think it also didn't help that I was playing by myself. I didn't get a chance to play with Luca and Slow-Mo. I know they had a ball, and I know that has a lot to do with it. If you're playing with people,
you got to play co-op. Yeah,
you got to play co-op with people. It's like I literally got off work, did Scumcast, and I was playing during Scumcast, so I didn't get a chance to really play with anybody else. So my idea of it's a little skewed just because it was by myself, but versus if you're playing with other people, I could see what the allure of this game is, and I think that's exactly what they were going for with Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Dirt Griggity, my man, he has a great channel too. If you're not following him, follow him. Great Xbox guy, very informative, and overall just awesome dude. He says, the mama from What's Happening scared the poop emoji out of me.
The poop emoji.
She scared me worse in The Wiz. Yeah, she was scary in The Wiz. That's right. Forgot about The Wiz, man. Again, something a lot of younger folks won't even know about. But anyway, shout out to the new channel member, Neil B. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. So one thing about the game, because I didn't get a chance to play it. I didn't have any way to get the... I didn't pre-order
games,
it.
That's why.
Yeah, I don't pre-order games and stuff, so it's very rare that I do anyway. So I didn't get to play it, but I watched some footage on it, and I thought it was really interesting. It reminds me of Left 4 Dead, let's face it. Still, a lot of people out there play Left 4 Dead to this day. So it's this is a game a lot of people are waiting for. I'm sure it's going to do well. One thing that really sparked my interest, and then I read a bit about it, and I saw people talking about it, and it's kind of I won't say polarizing, but some people like it and some people don't. And it's the card system. Did you see any of that?
The card system wasn't that bad. I was listening to the Iron Lords today, and Cognito was talking about it, and he's talking about with the Raven, and I was like with the bird and stuff, and I was like, I didn't see that one, but it was like when he was describing, I was like, oh yeah, I can see how that could be problematic, and some people don't want to even, you don't want to be that guy. I can definitely see now if you're that team that wants to go into scenarios and stuff and basically just amp that stuff up, then yeah, it's gonna basically make everything a little bit more rougher on you. I also think the whole friendly fire thing, because like I said, I didn't get to experience that because I didn't play with other people. I played it by myself. But I think that
you play Back 4 Blood by yourself, sir. Like, it was
still fun.
But it's hard by yourself.
It is hard. Well, they give you four AI components with you, and it's fine. But yeah, but I was listening to some people talk about, man, the fact that you could turn up the friendly fire, and I did watch some videos of people that did play like that, and just hearing the banter back and forth for the people, I actually thought that was really, really cool, and the call outs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I will give them credit for the fact that they didn't just phone this one in. This wasn't one that they just said, oh, well, I know a lot of people know us for making Left 4 Dead, and they found a very creative way of naming their game.
Well, they couldn't, and honestly, they couldn't make Left 4 Dead because they don't own the rights.
They don't own it, but they found I thought
Back 4 Blood is genius. Yeah,
it's genius. I was like, because as soon as we saw it, it's like, oh, this is Left 4 Dead 3, basically, with new characters.
I'm wondering how they get away with that, though, exactly, because it's basically the same type of game. I mean, is there...
It's all about the naming convention, man.
I
if you name it something different, you can... I mean, does Valve own the ability to say that, oh, we created this?
Yeah, you can't play a 4-player co-op game against zombies.
And ultra humans and stuff in it. Yeah,
did you get a chance to play one of the special zombies or whatever and attack the humans, or...
No, I didn't.
No. Yeah, and that's another creative thing.
I did some of the multiplayer. The multiplayer, let's be for real, it's awful.
Really?
Awful.
Wow.
I won't say, okay, better yet, it needs some work. It's not horrible, but it needs some work.
Shout out to Gaz in the chat, by the way.
Shout out to
Gaz and Porsche Power. Of course, Ains, Violet Femme, Philly Eagle, OG Kratos, Stuffed Sean. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up today. Appreciate you. So what about the multiplayer? Looks really horrible to you? Like,
It just doesn't seem like it has a direction. It's like that's what it is. Just like it's there. It just seems like the whole thing, like I said, phone in. It was just like they felt like they just had to add something for people that want to have that player versus player experience. That's kind of what it felt like. It feels like a little bit of them trying to hone in on their evolve when they went, with that 4 versus 1, but more team structured and stuff. So I think they're still trying to figure out a way to get that player versus player experience, because everybody knows that's where the lasting appeal of a game is. We can run around in co-op scenarios as much as we want, but sooner or later, the thing that makes the game shine and stay, not true to itself, but to the point where people just continually come back to it, is the multiplayer side of it. Or if you're a game, something like Division or Destiny or Borderlands that has a PvE component where they're consistently just updating it over and over and over again. And I can see Black 4 Blood coming out. They already have an Ultimate Edition version of the game that's going to have a bunch of stuff that's coming with it. So I can imagine them still giving us stuff in that arena, but I don't think the funnel is going to be as long as people would like it to be. So they got to have something for PvP that's going to kind of keep people engaged too.
Gotcha. OG Kratos says super sticker. Well, he gave me a super sticker, I guess.
Put it on your refrigerator.
I will. I'll put that on the refrigerator right next to my 7-year-old daughter's coloring drawing she did. Yeah. Anyway, so Back 4 Blood, it's basically Left 4 Dead 3. It looks very promising. If you're into the Left 4 Dead series, I'm sure you're going to be there for this game as well. Hopefully they do improve on that multiplayer. Going back to the card system a bit, though, I was seeing things like, because some people were complaining about it, like they didn't get it or whatever. But I don't really see what's there to get. It gives you different perks, basically. Like one card gave somebody, if they were to use a knife in the game, they would get like more health back or something.
Right.
And so it's just some perks you get, and it's not a big deal. It is what it is. It's very simple, and you're going to use these cards. Pick a card, whatever card you want to use that round or whatever. I get it,
I wonder if they're going to tie it to just a single use, like one card per, or they're going to do multiple iterations where you can like turn up the difficulty by stacking a bunch of negative stuff on it to kind of challenge yourself even more.
Oh, that's something I didn't look into. Can you stack cards?
That's what I want to know, because as of right now, I don't think you can.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
But that would be
one card.
But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if you want to amp up the difficulty of it, stack a bunch of negative stuff on your characters and stuff when that's available, and see. Hopefully that's something. Like I said, I think that's the thing that a lot of people are like, it's basically, why do we have to have a card system? Why can't this just be something that's inherently that I can just pick between inside the menu? It just seems like they added an extra thing to the game just to say, oh, we have this card system, instead of it just being like, oh, this character has all of these attributes, and you could kind of pick between the attributes that you want to go with in the game before it starts. They just made it a more flashier thing for you to show up on the menus.
Yeah. Eternal Umbra, he says, guys, I want to play Halo Infinite again. Badly.
Oh, Lord, I do too.
Man, you know what? I stuck that on the screen because that's kind of like a knife in my back, Eternal Umbra.
You didn't get in, did you?
I didn't get in. And I'm still salty about that. No, I'm glad you had fun with it. I'm glad everybody was having fun with it. It's really good. Wow, Forte, how 343 have turned things around with Halo Infinite is incredible. Incredible. And now, look, the jury is still out for me on the campaign, because I did not like 5's campaign at all. Right. But for the multiplayer, I am so excited to play that. Like, really so excited.
Yeah, a lot of people know I am not a fan of 343. They still have a lot.
You too, huh?
No, they have a lot to still show. It's like it kind of hit the wall for me with Master Chief Collection. coming out into the way that it did. I know they were trying to do some very unique things that a game normally doesn't do when it comes to switching between different games and game modes and flipping here, jumping there. It was just all over the place what they were trying to do. And in theory, it was amazing. And honestly, today you can do that. That's something that is easily done inside the game because they finally fixed all of those networking issues that they had. But the fact that that game came out in the state that it came out day one, when we had 4 or 3 functioning games individually, I was kind of done with them at that point. They did come a long way. And I went into this technical preview with the lowest of low expectations, and they exceeded it. And they literally made me a believer in that this game is going to be something truly special.
Yeah.
Who knows what the multiplayer is going to be, the single player is going to be.
That's the point. Like
no one knows. That's the knife that everybody's waiting for to drop right now. But seeing what they did, you could kind of see some of the improvements they made from compared to the demo from last year to this year in the multiplayer. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people, if you don't know this, multiplayer will always look worse than single player. Always. Mm-hmm. And the fact that some of the texture quality that they had in the game for the multiplayer looks so much better than it was in that demo we got last year. Like weapons had shadows, lighting was a lot better. Overall, the aesthetic of the game just was a lot more pleasing, and they still kind of stuck with the same aesthetic that they wanted to go with from the demo last year. They didn't really change anything. They just kind of touched it up and made it look in the presentation was a lot better. So seeing the beta be like, or the preview be like that, gives me a lot of hope that the multiplayer, at least not the single player or the campaign, will actually stand up to what people kind of want. But then again, it comes down to people's expectations. Like, what is a person's expectations versus what's going to happen a year from now or a year ago versus now? Yeah. So that's suggested to everybody, though.
You know, I'm interested. Philly Eagle in the chat said, I'm glad people, are excited about Halo Infinite, but it's a hard pass for me. And I'm wondering, Philly, I know you can't talk to us right here, but you can put it in the chat. What is it about Halo Infinite that is a hard pass for you? Are you not a Game Pass subscriber? Are you not going to touch it at all? Like, let me know. Anyways, OG Kratos says, 343, I think, knocked it out of the park this time. Well, it looks that way for the multiplayer. But again, we have to see that campaign. The campaign now, the little trailer that they put out for the campaign, it did look better. It looked good. But I need to know how this is going to play out. The story, this whole thing, because originally we heard that this is like a 10-year game, essentially, that they're just going to work off of this model, these assets and everything for the next 10 years and storyline and all that. And Destiny was the same way. And look where Destiny's story was, all over the place. Some of it is okay. Some of it is downright trash. And like, that whole Osiris thing was just unbearable.
Destiny's story didn't get good to the 5th year.
Yeah. And so, there's just a lot of question marks there. And especially for 343, because in my opinion, and a lot of people argue with me on 4, I didn't even like 4. Ooh. I didn't like the Prometheans. I thought they were cheap. And by cheap, I mean they'd teleport away as soon as you're about to kill them.
True.
And the Didact was just a dumb villain because he was so powerful. He could have just destroyed Master Chief in a second. But no, plot armor. It's just, I didn't care for that story at all. It was fun. I have fun with all the Halo games. I played Halo 5 twice. Okay. I don't like the story at all, but the game is fun. Like I like the shooting and everything. Bungie does a phenomenal job with that. Yeah. 343 carried on, but you know what I mean? There's a lot of Bungie executives still there, Bungie developers, I should say, not executives, but there's a lot of Bungie guys still there.
Yeah. Halo 4, if I had to take a guess on why people feel Halo 4 is so much better, is mostly not even really due to the story. It's just the fact that you remember what that game looked like on 360? That game looked phenomenal on a 360.
Oh,
like it was almost it was unreal. I think that's kind of the thing that kind of disappointed me too about last year with Halo Infinite, to see that Halo 4 looked incredible. Halo 5 looked incredible.
It did.
We take this hard drop with Infinite and Halo Infinite didn't look horrible, but it just wasn't like, it wasn't what we expected from
you were thinking
343 versus what we got from the last 2 games.
Yeah. Porsche Power puts up a good post here. And he says, people forget that Halo 2 was criticized greatly, that Reach was lambasted. He's 100% correct about this stuff. 15 years later, everyone thinks Bungie was perfect. It's funny, honestly. Here's the thing, Ains. I liked Halo 2. Yes, it did get criticized. Halo 1, 2, and 3 are still my favorites. I never mentioned Reach because I don't think it was all that great, and that's why it was lambasted. Reach wasn't, a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination either.
What part of Reach are we talking about here?
I don't remember.
The single player part or the
single
multiplayer?
player? Single player.
Because I think Reach is probably the best version of single player that
really, I didn't care for it too much, but the multiplayer was regarded as being trash.
It was okay. It was okay. I like the single player. I thought was the one time that they were able to make. I mean, ODST 2. I think that was great too. But I think it was the first time you were able to take Master Chief away.
Yeah,
and you not have a problem playing with another Spartan.
I did. I don't.
You did. I never had.
I always want to play as Master Chief.
I guess because I read all of the books and I knew what Reach was.
Gotcha.
So I knew what Reach was coming out. When they said we were doing Reach, I was like, oh, yo, this is based on the story before Master Chief. Why. So I knew Master Chief wasn't going to be a part of it.
Now, the Reach graphics were amazing.
Phenomenal.
They still look great for its time. Philly Eagle says Reach was the best in the series to him. For me, it's always going to be Combat Evolved, just because I have such, great memories of playing Combat Evolved, the single player, and also online, not even online, in LAN parties at my house with my brothers and friends, and we would just hook up the TVs and the Xboxes and play Halo. It was so much fun. Anyways, but that's my favorite Halo. I want to talk about PlayStation, and more importantly, PlayStation Now. You've heard by now, Forte, that the numbers of PlayStation Plus subscribers are down.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so it's taken a dip. They're still up from 2019, but they're down from 2020. And a lot of this is being attributed to the pandemic, and saying, the stay-at-home orders helped people, gravitate to things like gaming, which it did. We saw a big uptick in gaming when the pandemic hit. But as far as, the numbers of PlayStation Plus going down since then, Hiroshi Totoki, that's the chief financial officer, I think, there at Sony, he's not really worried about it, he says, because of what I was talking about with the pandemic and the numbers going down. He seems to think that it's just because people are back to work and school, that sort of thing. And maybe they just didn't resubscribe. I don't know. Do you think that this at all has, but here's the thing, PlayStation Now, the numbers have gone up since.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you a kind of a different question here on it. Do you think that PlayStation Now has gone up because people see more value in the service than they do, say, PlayStation Plus?
Ooh. Well, PlayStation Plus, you got to have you have to have it for multiplayer. So I can see PlayStation Plus dropping because a lot of people are going back to work. A lot of people probably were just doing the month to month. I get a lot of people come into the store and say, hey, can I buy a 1 month card? I said, no, you can only do that on the system. So I know there's a lot of people that are on month to month when it comes to that. And I can see a lot of those people, once they did go back to work, fall off of that. Now, I do think a lot of people are starting to see a lot of more value in PlayStation Now, because it is a catalog of over 800 games. Now, how you play those games is completely different versus other services and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of people here Game Pass and all of the different games that are around that, the fact that PlayStation Now is more than less than half the price than Game Pass is, $60 for a year.
And it's gotten better.
And I've seen it as low as $40 before too. Cause I think Slow-Mo had it and he got it when it was like $39.99 for a year. It has gotten better. You see Red Dead Redemption just got put in there. It's in there until October 8th or something like that. So,
but my thing is, like, if you really think about it, you've heard a lot of talk out there. There's been chatter against Game Pass, but here it is, PlayStation Now. There's an uptick of subscribers, and we're talking about a similar service, not one-to-one here because we're not getting day and date, but it's a similar service, and I think people are seeing more value in it. And it just goes against a lot of the narratives, the fanboy talking points that we hear about, against Game Pass. And we're looking at something on Sony's side to which, people are gravitating to. And it's obviously because it's gotten better and the value has gone up. And I think that's all you could really attribute that to. And gamers, despite what you hear out there, any kind of fanboy rhetoric or anything like that, and I hate to even talk about them here, but I have to in this case because it's relevant. I think that anything you hear, because we do hear a lot of stuff out there, a lot of chatter, just disregard a lot of the negative stuff because in the end, casuals are king at the end of the day, and they're going to gravitate to whatever value they see. And these services are putting out a value that these casuals are gravitating to. I don't know, you have anything to add on that?
No, I think in general, so we're part of a community that is the smallest of the smallest in the gaming community. Yeah, so when we hear a lot of people talking about, Game Pass is this or PS Now is this, it's more of the echo chamber that we kind of sit in and we congregate ourselves in versus I truly believe once the message gets out about these services and a casual fan gets a whiff of it, the casual fan is all about saving money. Ultimately, that's literally the number one thing that a casual fan will always do. There's a reason that all of these different stores have their different benefit cards. Best Buy had theirs, GameStop has theirs, because ultimately it helps you save money. There's a reason people have Amazon. When remember when Amazon was doing 20% off games if you pre-ordered on their thing. They stopped it, but a lot of people started buying through Amazon for that reason alone. So
I did. I
know a lot of people did too.
Best Buy had a service as well.
They did. They had it was like I think it was $20 off if you bought the game within the week it released.
Yep, I signed up for that as well.
And a lot of people loved it, and they were upset when it went away. So telling people that buying games at full price and stuff like that, and giving them the option to say, if it's a game that you truly want, then you're going to go out and buy it if it's not in the service that you want. But versus if it's like something like Game Pass and everything from Microsoft's in their day one, then it's a completely different discussion. It's like, now I'm thinking about third-party games are on this platform, but all of the first-party games are going to be in this service that I have access to versus they have the same kind of thing on the other system, but they're not doing the day and date thing. So it really just comes down to where it's apples and oranges at that point. I just truly think gamers are going to decide to spend their money how they're going to want to do it. Some are going to do it because their friends are on a particular platform. They like PlayStation. That's where all their fans and their family and everything is, and they're going to play over there. Yeah. They love PlayStation exclusives, and they're going to play on PlayStation. But then you're going to have those people right in the middle, the Call of Duty fan, the NBA, the Madden fan, that if they do want to partake in little things like other games, what service gives them the best bang for their buck? Which one is going to give them newer games inside of a service that they're not getting somewhere else? And if they can get it for a lot cheaper on a different platform, that's going to happen. And guess what? It happens every day because I see it all the time. I very rarely, not saying it doesn't happen, but I very rarely see somebody buy a PSN card, a PS Now card in the store. but I always see people upping their Game Pass.
That is a great little topic to get on here. You work for Game Pass, telling everybody out there.
I work for Game Pass.
I mean, GameStop. Sorry.
Yeah, I do work for Game Pass.
You work for GameStop, letting everybody know. Now, the fact that you work for GameStop, I want to ask you, since Game Pass has been out and people are buying these Game Pass cards, nobody buys Xbox games anymore, right?
No, they still buy them.
Exactly.
They still buy them. Like, look, every day sometimes it hits me and I'm like, when I'm sitting there, every once in a while I'll mention it to a person, like, you do know this is on Game Pass. Like, matter of fact, somebody bought Forza Horizon 4, $44. $44 used in the store. And I was like, I said,
you guys took them.
Yeah, I literally said, you can play this on Game Pass right now for just a subscription. I said, do you have Game Pass? He said, no, I don't want to do subscription. I was like, oh, okay. Not about to convince you to do it. I mean, I just wanted to give you the option to say, yo, you can use this money to go towards the game that's not inside the Game Pass, but so everybody's not going to want to be in the service. But the fact that there are people that will still go to a store and buy games just because maybe they just like the ownership of it. I do the same thing. There probably will never be a game that I would buy inside a game that's in Game Pass unless it was leaving Game Pass and I want to keep it. If it's hitting Game Pass, I'm waiting. I'm just going to wait for Game Pass. But if I know it's not going to be in there, I'm just going to buy it day one because I'm like me. The one thing me and Slow-Mo have in common is I don't wait on games. If it's a game I want to play, I'm not going to wait an entire 6 months. Like, people don't know, Madden will be in Game Pass at some point because they have a partnership with EA. It will be in there 6 months after the game comes out. It will probably be in Game Pass. Same thing with Battlefield. It will be in Game Pass, but I'm not going to wait 6 or 7 months. I'm going to play it right then and there.
Yeah. Think about Game Pass, and, we're talking about PlayStation Now. Moreover, these services, though, both are increasing in subscribers, one more than the other for sure. But that's because there's bigger value there with Game Pass. There's just no two ways around it. You get every game day and date from Microsoft. With Sony, they're not doing that yet. But I tell you, if they were to do that, they would get millions upon millions subscribing to this service as well. I don't care who you're listening to out there. Those naysayers will subscribe. Now, that doesn't mean everybody would subscribe to these services because that's ridiculous. Not everybody subscribes to Netflix, for instance. There's people out there who still want to watch movies on Blu-ray. It's just there's those people. I myself will watch the occasional streaming, movie or whatever. But if I really want to delve into a film, like really sink everything into it and watch it, and I love the movie or whatever, I'm going to buy it on 4K Blu-ray. That's just the way I want to consume my media. With games, it's different. You're downloading it. It's, you're not getting different bit rates like you do on streaming movies and stuff. So there's a different situation there. But I'm just saying that not everybody is going to buy into this service, but a hell of a lot of people will. And these services can grow immensely. And I know that one day you're going to see PlayStation conform to that. They're going to do day and date at some point. It may be years to come, but it's coming. And it's because there's no denying that there is a market out there for this kind of consumption. And people are willing to pay for services like this. And I think Microsoft, they're ahead of the game right now. They've put their foot out first. And Game Pass is, honestly, it's blowing up. The value is there. I love it. And I don't care if people call me a shill or what. Look, I'm not an Xbox guy per se, but I love freaking Game Pass. I love it. I talk to people all the time about it. Like, if I meet a guy and he's a gamer or whatever, I ask him, you own an Xbox? Yeah. You have Game Pass? No. Why not? I talk to him about it. And usually, because this has happened at work to me and a guy, he got Game Pass and he loves it.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's one of those things where I like these type of services, but it's got to give me the right amount of value. And right now, PS Now for me doesn't have that right amount of value. They're getting more multi-plats in there and stuff like Red Dead Redemption 2, you said. that's some great stuff and great a great start. But they need day and date. They need
it. Well, that's the
for
thing
me to jump in.
Well, that's the thing that's going to separate. Because right now that's the separating thing between the two platforms. Ultimately, it just comes down to games. If Sony continues to put out games the way they put them out and they have blockbuster hits time after time, then it will be a slow burn for them to do it. Now, if Xbox can prove, and they still have a lot to prove because the games haven't really released yet. We're still waiting for a lot of the acquisition stuff to actually, come to fruition when it comes to the games. But if they can prove that they can continue to bring stellar games that stand out inside of this service, that will force Sony to kind of have to do the same thing, because what's going to happen is you're going to see people take notice on not just Xbox, PlayStation, PC, everywhere. And the more games that Xbox releases that are of quality where people feel like, yo, that's a no-brainer. Why would I not play that on Xbox and get it for cheaper? That's when I think Sony that's the thing that Sony's waiting to see if it's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, they're watching Game Pass right now, bro.
To see.
Yeah, they're watching Game Pass closely right now. They want to see if it will indeed succeed. I think it will, but again, I'm just,
I think
a guy
it's
on the
already
couch.
Succeeded. It just comes down to how much it's going to succeed at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Now to switch gears a bit, I want to talk about just real quick.
Yeah.
So we've got so many games lined up, Forte, coming out soon. And of course, in August, we have Hades. We have 12 Minutes. Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut. Psychonauts 2. I mean, that's some great gaming. There's some indie games out there too, but these are like the bigger games that everybody's looking forward to. I know 12 Minutes and Hades are indie games, but these games are very people are waiting to play them. I am one of those people. I can't wait to try all of these games. What has you excited about this list?
Hades. I want to play it on Xbox. I started it on Switch. Probably a month before they announced it coming to Game Pass, and I instantly stopped. I was like, nope, we'll wait for this to come to Xbox and play it. Because first of all, it's already a game that I am not the most diverse in. So it's like when I played, it's like, okay, it's like Returnal. I wanted to play Returnal, but I just didn't like the fact that my first run got ruined after being in it for 2 hours. And I was like, nope, can't do it. Wait for this to get fixed. Still haven't went back in yet. But Hades, ever since the whole game, because I didn't know what Hades was last year. I was like, what is this Hades game? Everybody's talking about being game of the year. So after that, I went out and got it on Switch. And then I was playing it back and forth, jumping between games and stuff. And then it got announced for Game Pass coming. And I was like, I'm going to wait for that. So that's the number one game. 12 Minutes. That's
interesting, man.
Yeah, that's something that Slow-Mo is very interested in.
Me too.
I get a lot of my games that I'm interested in when it comes to like the indie side of it from Slow-Mo, because he has.
Did you try Death's Door or no?
Oh, I have it, dude. That game's phenomenal.
Did you beat it?
I beat the first 3 bosses.
You got to beat it, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, you beat it? Oh, yeah.
My game of the year, man. My game of the year right now.
The first time I saw that game when Xbox showed us, I was like, yo, a crow with a sword. This is awesome. It looked like a little lightsaber. And I was like,
by the way, Violet Femme asked, wait a minute, Ghost of Tsushima is going to be in Game Pass? No, I'm just talking about the games that are coming out. That's all, this August. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut's coming out for the PS5, of course. And I can't wait for that one. That's honestly my most anticipated, DLC, because I love that first game.
That's what I'm going to play Ghost, because I didn't play Ghost.
You didn't?
I never played it on PS4 because it's just like I didn't want to get caught into that whole situation like with last generation where Last of Us came out and then they remastered it on PS4. So I was like, nope, I'm going to wait. We know PS5 is coming out. I know they're going to have a PS5 version of this game because it's right.
I wish I could have done that. I wish I would have done that.
That was the one game. That was the one game that I was like, I will wait because at first it wasn't running at 30. I mean, at 60, it was only running at 30. So I was like, yeah, I'll definitely wait on that because I'm not trying to play at 30 anymore.
Yeah, I tried to back compat at 60. It did really well. It was really cool. It felt great. But then, when they announced this DLC, that's when I said, that's when I'm going to dive into the PS5 version and just really get into it. I can't wait for it, man.
Yeah, so
Ghost of Tsushima. And you know what? Shout out to Seasoned Gaming and Ains and Ty Guy Travis for just, they were talking so much mess about Ghost today, saying it had horrible combat and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, the combat is some of the most satisfying combat in any game with a sword, in my opinion. I loved it. So
you should have asked them in that chat, say, what do y'all think about Witcher's combat?
Yeah. We're not going to go there because we're not going to slander Witcher 3 because
Witcher 3 got terrible combat.
Witcher 3 is one of the best games ever, but yes, the combat
was suspect.
It's not the best. We'll just say that. Anyways,
I agree.
That's the time we have. We're done with the show today. Tell everybody out there, Forte, where they could find you and all that good stuff. And this was amazing.
No, well, first of all, like I said, I appreciate you, all the things you do for the gaming community. You're a good friend.
Appreciate you.
You're part of the Scum family as always. But for me, it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. DPS Podcast every Thursday. This week it was on my channel. Next week it will be on my partner Slow-Mo's channel. So make sure you come through and check out our stuff. And Brat Podcast every Wednesday night with myself, Brat, B Money, Eric Jackson, and Slow-Mo. And the beautiful Scumcast every Saturday at 8 p.m. now. We have a legit time now because Luca doesn't move it around anymore. So,
and by BRAP you mean Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Yes, that's on that channel here on YouTube with Enrique, great guy. Also, I want to give a shout out to Ryan in the chat. He says, great show, fellas. Thank you very much. Thank you, chat, for being here today. I appreciate all of you. And honestly, like every week we do this show and it just flies by so fast. And that's when you know you're just having a good time. And that's all I want people to do here is have a good time between my guests and the chat. So hopefully you guys had a good time listening to this, watching it. Until next time, folks, game on.